Hey buddy, welcome back to Series Finder. You know what's wild? Science fiction shows. They're like this perfect mix of totally mind-blowing and really hard to nail down. But that's exactly what makes them so awesome. One minute you're watching aliens crash land on Earth, and the next you're deep in some intense space drama that hits you right in the feels. Today I've got 8 absolute bangers that are gonna blow your mind. From epic space adventures to some seriously creepy sci-fi horror. So grab your favorite snack, get comfy, and let's jump into these incredible shows you definitely need to check out. Let me tell you about this cool sci-fi drama called Silo that dropped on Apple TV Plus on May 5th, 2023. It's set in a crazy future where a ton of people are living in this massive underground silo that goes down for hundreds of stories. They think they need to follow a bunch of strict rules to stay safe from the nasty stuff outside. The main character, Juliet, played by Rebecca Ferguson, gets into some serious detective work after a coworker dies under mysterious circumstances. As she digs deeper, she starts uncovering some pretty unsettling secrets about their society and what's really going on in their world. The show dives into themes like control, secrecy, and how people act when they're all crammed together. It really makes you think about what's real and what's not. Silo has gotten a lot of love from viewers for its gripping plot and the awesome performances, especially from the lead cast. It's definitely a standout in the sci-fi genre, mixing mystery with some deep social commentary in a really unique setting. So, if you're into that kind of stuff, you might want to check it out. So basically, The Mandalorian is this really cool Star Wars show that kicked off when Disney Plus launched back in 2019. The main guy is Din Djarin, played by Pedro Pascal. He's this lone wolf bounty hunter who's out there doing his thing in the far corners of the galaxy, way out where the New Republic can't really boss anyone around. The best part? He ends up traveling with this absolutely adorable little green guy called Grogu, who's the same kind of creature as Yoda. And honestly, everyone just fell in love with him right away. The show looks amazing. Like, we're talking movie quality Star Wars stuff here. The effects, the action, everything just feels super polished. It's pretty much knocked it out of the park with both die-hard Star Wars nerds and people who are just getting into the whole thing. They've done a great job making the Star Wars universe feel bigger and more interesting on TV, and it's become this massive hit that everyone's talking about. Think of it as a space western that just happens to be set in the Star Wars universe. It's got that cool, gritty vibe while still feeling totally Star Wars, you know? So let me tell you about Loki. It's this really cool Marvel show that hit Disney Plus back in June 2021. So basically, you know, Tom Hiddleston's Loki, right? That mischievous guy from the Marvel movies. Well, after all that crazy stuff that went down in Avengers Endgame, he manages to snag the Tesseract and boom, creates this whole new timeline. The show's all about him bouncing around through time and space, getting into all sorts of wild situations. They did 6 episodes for the first season, and then they came back with a second season that ran from October to November 2023. What's super fun about it is how they mix up action and adventure with all these deep questions about who we really are and whether we actually have free will. But don't worry, it's not all heavy stuff. People have been loving it, especially the way everyone acts in it. It's definitely been a big deal for Marvel's Phase 4. Think of it as this wild ride through time with everyone's favorite troublemaker, God. How's that for a more laid-back way of explaining it? So there's this really cool show on Apple TV Plus called For All Mankind. It's basically like, what if the space race never ended? The whole thing kicks off in 1969, but with a twist. The Soviets beat America to the moon. Wild, right? Instead of the space program slowing down, it just keeps going full steam ahead, with the US and USSR trying to one-up each other in space. The show follows these NASA astronauts and their families, and trust me, their lives are pretty intense. You get to see all the crazy stuff they deal with, both at work and at home. What's super neat is how they mix real history with made-up stories. Like they take actual events we know about and then put their own spin on them. The special effects are pretty mind-blowing too. Critics have been loving it, especially the second season, and they've already got a fourth season in the works. It's definitely one of the best sci-fi shows you'll find on Apple TV+. By the way, the show started back in November 2019, and it's been going strong ever since. Let me tell you about this wild show on Netflix called Love, Death, and Robots. It dropped back in 2019, and get this, it's not your typical series. Instead, it's like a bunch of short mini-movies, each one totally different from the last. These two big shot creators, Tim Miller and David Fincher, basically went, let's make something completely bonkers. Each episode is super short, like 5 to 15 minutes, but man, they pack a lot in. The animation styles are all over the place. Some look like your favorite video games, others are straight up traditional cartoons, and some are so realistic you'll do a double take. The stories? Absolutely nuts. We're talking killer robots after the apocalypse, aliens showing up to cause chaos, and no joke, there's even one about super smart yogurt trying to take over everything. Like, who even thinks of that? Just a heads up though, this isn't your Saturday morning cartoon show. It gets pretty intense with adult stuff, deep thoughts about life, and some heavy themes. Critics are totally loving how creative and different it is, plus the animation is just chef's kiss. But yeah, maybe don't watch this one with the kids around. So picture this. It's 400 years in the future, and there's this spaceship called the Orville cruising around the universe. It's not like the fanciest ship out there, more like middle management of space, if you know what I mean. Seth MacFarlane, yeah, the Family guy, created this whole thing. The show's pretty unique because it's not just your typical sci-fi adventure, it's actually really funny too. But don't think it's all jokes. They deal with some pretty real stuff between the crew members. Relationships, drama, all that good stuff. They just wrapped up their third season. They called it New Horizons in 2022, and it was a huge hit. Like seriously, it became one of the most watched streaming shows in America that year. You can catch it on Hulu or Disney Plus if you're interested. Oh, and get this, they're planning to start working on season 4 in 2025, which has got fans pretty pumped. What makes the show really cool is how it doesn't take itself too seriously. Like, they'll be exploring space and dealing with crazy alien stuff, but they'll throw in these funny moments that make it feel way more relatable than your typical space show. Okay, so let me tell you about this wild show called Resident Alien. So there's this alien, right? He crash lands on Earth and decides to basically steal the identity of this doctor in this tiny Colorado mountain town. The funny part is, he's actually supposed to be on this mission to wipe out all humans. Talk about awkward. But here's where it gets interesting. This random 9-year-old kid in town can somehow see what he really looks like under his human disguise. Total game changer. While he's trying to figure out human stuff, which is hilarious by the way, he's also desperately searching for his lost spaceship. Alan Tudyk plays this alien pretending to be human character, and honestly, he absolutely crushes it. The show's got this perfect mix of being super funny, but also kind of sweet. You actually start rooting for this alien who's technically supposed to destroy humanity. People are loving it so much that they keep renewing it for more seasons. It's one of those shows that just gets better as it goes along, watching this alien dude slowly figure out humans might not be so bad after all, even though he's hilariously bad at acting like one himself. So let me tell you about a super wild TV show called From that you've got to check out. It's all about this weird town smack in the middle of nowhere, USA. That's basically like a supernatural roach motel. People can check in, but they can't check out. The whole thing follows these poor folks who are stuck there, trying to figure out how to deal with all this crazy supernatural stuff, while also, attempting to live somewhat normal lives, if you can call it that. Think of it like Hotel California meets horror vibes, but way more intense. The show's got everything: creepy monsters, mind-bending mysteries, and people losing their minds trying to escape. But what makes it really cool is how these characters have to deal with their own personal drama while also trying not to get killed by whatever freaky thing is lurking in the shadows. They dropped the first season in 2022, and it was such a hit They came back with season 2 in 2023. If you're into stuff that'll keep you on the edge of your seat and make you sleep with the lights on, this is totally your jam. It's perfect for anyone who likes their sci-fi with a heavy dose of what the heck is going on. And there you have it, buddy. 8 sci-fi shows that are absolutely worth your time. Whether you're in the mood for some alien shenanigans or mind-bending drama, there's definitely something here for everyone. If you enjoyed this list and want more recommendations like these, you know what to do. Smash that like button and hit subscribe. Drop a comment below telling me which show you're going to watch first, or if you've already seen any of these gems. Until next time, keep exploring those new worlds, and I'll catch you in the next video.